Well, it's late May 2024, and as per the title of this video, I finally bought a boat. The decision came only maybe 6 weeks ago. I got serious about it, the idea of buying a boat, and there's a couple of reasons for that. I only started fly fishing about 5 years ago, so I certainly didn't start in my youth or even my middle ages or early middle ages. And then 2 years ago, so about 3 years after starting, I got into comp fishing. And I got into comp fishing not because I wanted to conquer the universe and the world of fly fishing, competitive fly fishing, but because I figured it was the easiest way to learn and the quickest way to learn. And I've really enjoyed doing that. The caliber of the people I get to fish with and the information that I can get from them is just amazing. So on a regular basis, I get to fish with, top 10 Australian fly fishermen, which is amazing. And the one of the bad things about that for me, from my perspective, with my experiences, is that up until then, I was a 98% river fisherman. So a lot of wading, a lot of slippery rivers like the Tiana, which is my local. And by local, I mean it's about an hour and 40 minutes drive for me to get there. And it just gets to the stage where after a season, the slipping and the abuse of the body from the rocks and the constant slipping over and falling over gets a little bit much. So I figure fishing out of a boat's going to be a lot easier on the body and long term a much better prospect for me. So the boat thing became an option. And also with comp fishing, almost half the comps are on Loch style fishing, and I have no way of getting any practice or experience in Loch style fishing except for the days that I have a comp a couple of times a year on a lake. So it's been very difficult to get up to speed with that. I fished the Nationals last year in November and didn't do too badly on the lakes. Didn't blank a session, which was really good. I actually blanked a river session. So the boat's going to help with both allowing me to fish for more years, in terms of not having to risk some of the heavy flows and the slipperiness of the rivers in Tassie, because it's the meander is also pretty bad. It's a long way from here, but the meander is pretty slippery as well. The Tiana, as I said, is deep and slippery and can be treacherous in high water. So the boat thing is really good. So I started looking around, and I had a couple of prerequisites. It had to be a boat that would last me for at least 10 or 15 years that I plan to be fly fishing. So it had to be something that would last the distance, or hopefully part of the distance. It would have to be a boat that I could handle single-handedly, since I do a lot of my fishing midweek because I'm semi-retired. And it would be one that I could fish comfortably with two people. So in comps, we have one fishing out of the bow and one fishing out of the stern, which is the driver. And it therefore had to have little clutter and just be easy to use. Now, if I'd had my dream choice and built a boat from scratch, from the factory on the Quintrex or Stacer or Stessel or whatever website, and put all the bits and pieces that I wanted on the boat, it would have cost way above my budget. So, excuse me. So what I did, looked at a lot of choices online and tried the old custom build, adding all the bits and pieces I wanted to various different brands of boats, from like a 4.2 up to a 4.6 meter. I soon realized that it was going to be pretty expensive to build it and add options, especially if I went to something like the number one pick in Australia, or the number one selling tinny, which is a Quintrex. I did like the idea of the Renegade. There's a couple of guys that I fish with or know of in the fishing scene, fly fishing scene, that have the Renegades and swear by them. But the other issue I have, being based in southern Tasmania, with the population in Tasmania, is there's not a lot of boat yards that you can actually go and visit. And therefore not a lot of stock, being Tassie. There's only just under 600,000 in the whole state, and that meant that I would have to go up to Melbourne or Brisbane or Sydney and look around boat yards and try and find something that was suitable. So that was going to get expensive given the cost of the ferry over from Devonport over to Geelong. is expensive, especially with when you're towing a boat or a caravan. And the timetable in terms of the allocated slots is pretty poor. It can take you a long time between trips, the departure and the arrival back, to get a slot for your boat or your caravan with your car. So we had a few weeks ago now, about three or so weeks ago, what's called AgFest in Tassie, and that's based up in Carrick. It's basically a Tasmania's version of a boat show, a caravan show, an agricultural show, and a machinery show. And it's all on a massive site, and it's actually very well run. We went to our first one a few weeks back. We'd been here in Tassie quite a few years now, but I'd never been to AgFest. I knew there was going to be a couple of marinas with boats on display, so I figured that was a pretty good way to get a look at some boats up close and personal. And I was immediately drawn to the one that I eventually bought on the day. Just after I saw it, it was on a show special deal, as they often are. It seemed to fit a lot of the criteria that I wanted in terms of casting deck, in terms of side console. I really wanted a side console because I think that's going to be more comfortable for me than a telesteer. And it also happened to have a few other little bits and pieces that were options that the marine dealer had actually pre-fitted when it was ordered for display in their boatyard. As it happens, the boat was and it's almost a 3-hour drive to get up to AgFest at Carrick from here, down south of Hobart. As it happens, the boat marina that was displaying this boat that I took a shine to is 10 minutes up the road from me. So I travelled 3 hours for a boat that was basically in my neighbourhood, but that's okay. I got to look at some other boats, and I've been doing a lot of research online. So I bought the boat, or said I'd buy the boat, and it's now almost 2.5 weeks later, and finally I've had the phone call. I'm about to go and pick it up. I will reveal more information on that in my next video once I pick it up, and I'll do a quick walk around the boat. But very excited to be picking it up. I'm looking forward to doing a lot more lake fishing in it. It looks like it will be very suitable for the Highland lakes here, and even some of the rivers here. I don't plan to do a lot of sea fishing in it. I prefer, I'll probably keep it to the freshwater lakes and rivers. But I'm literally about to walk down the deck now and into the car, and take the 10-minute drive to go pick up my new tinny. So cheers for watching, and I'll update this when I pick it up.